Okay. Royal Gala, which took on like 4 or 5 different titles during the course of its existence, started out with being referred to as potato eaters.
I think the Royal Gala started with an illustration that with a sketch that Carrie had created.
I actually don't remember coming up with this idea. And Marie said, when I asked later about where the Royal Gala came from, she said, oh, well, you just said that you had an idea to do something that looked like Vincent Van Gogh's The Potato Eaters. I've always loved that painting. And the theme of it, which is, you know, poor people reduced to eating nothing but potatoes, and conceptually it came down to using the potato eaters to portray migrant workers who in America tend to eat fast foods because they're cheap, they're fatty, they're salty, they're very appealing.
In this case, that they are actually picking these perfect apples and that they are all around them and surrounded by them, but that they aren't eating them. And so are they not eating them out of choice or out of necessity because they're not allowed to eat them or they can't afford to eat them?
I think it was Alicia who came up with the idea of attaching Royal Gala to this with the idea of it being ironic, of it being Burger King Royal.
I just got a phone call one day from Sarah, and she said, well, how would you like to work on a project with us? And I was like, okay, what does that mean exactly?
Lauren is a really amazing graphic designer. Once we told her, okay, how can you make packaging for Royal Gala? And she just like cranked out all these different designs.
We created this brand, and it was Royal Gala, and just the name itself just starts to create such funny, interesting images. I think what fast food restaurants are so amazing at doing is creating those images in our head so that we really do feel like we're having a Royal Gala.
The shot was a complex one in that we were stuck with Vincent Van Gogh's painting. It was both a blessing and a curse because, of course, the painter can light things in ways that the photographer cannot. The other thing was that there were too many people.
There's many shots of Carrie and Babs and Yari and me and Allison rotating in and out, being the 5 different people and figuring out how to do it when the triplets came in.
We were going very direct to Van Gogh's Potato Eaters, so the positions had to be just right, and the expression had to be just right as well.
It's just a subtle like eye expression, you know, it's like, oh, joy, oh, I'm just gonna squint my eyes just a tiny bit. But it's not even thinking about the eyes, but it's like, okay, what are my happy thoughts, you know? And then if it's a little worry, it's like, oh no, he's gonna leave me.
I almost feel like that one was more difficult than Golden Delicious because there was no self-expression. I was to keep a straight face the entire time and just have my hands sticking out in this one position while Kel did some things.
Her elbow seems like it should be down lower.
Yeah.
We shot the picture in 2 halves, so we had 2 of the girls on one half of the picture on the left, and then we shot it again, 2 of the girls on the right half the picture. There we go, everybody. And then we put the 2 pictures together in post-production. And then in Van Gogh's image, there's a little girl seated in the middle.
There was some talk at some point of me being the person in the front, but we threw it out early on and stuck with it being all triplets. And we worked with that and we actually made a shot of it. Nice.
The girl in the foreground, I struggled to try to make her work, and she just popped out. Like I just couldn't get her to blend in with everybody else.
And somewhere during the day of the reshoot, Carrie and Kelly were like, all right, you're gonna be the person in the front. And I was like, wait a second, I don't agree, but okay, you need it to happen that way.
I love it too, because people coming in too, I love saying, we are all the people in all of the images except for one.
The way it all came together, I think it's one of the most powerful compositions of all of them, partly because we stole a really powerful composition to model from, but I think it's a really beautiful performance and the whole thing really comes together.
While we were here panicking on building 7 triptychs, which seemed impossible in the time we had, Sarah and Alicia were panicking over trying to make an 11,000 square foot space for TRIIIBE. Conceptually, it developed into a journey where the photographs would be facing out, that they would be the thing you'd see from the street, that they would be the temptation to come inside. The first thing they had to do was to make the interior space feel welcoming and really separate the two worlds. The outside world with its advertising and the inside world with its womb-like potential. Let's slow down for a moment and let's explore our senses. Let's leave the hidden persuaders behind and let's kind of experience things close up.